What's up, guys? Erroneous here, back with another Raid Shadow Legends video, and boy, we have so much going on in Raid right now in terms of this weekend with all the different 10x's, in terms of the new Path event that's going on for potentially Kira and Tatsu, as well as Xena, where she just came out. So in this video, I'm going to be breaking down all of that as quickly as I possibly can, so let's get into it. Alright, y'all, so we have Xena, Warrior Princess here, and this is going to be her full kit, so I'm going to walk through that, and then throughout the course of the video, I'm going to be going over her kit, I'm going to be going over the passes and my thoughts on it from a free-to-play perspective, and a little bit on a pay-to-win perspective too, but mostly from a free-to-play perspective from myself, and then determine whether this is actually worth it or not in the end. So, and then I'll give the pros and cons. I'm not just going to be completely negative the whole time. I've already seen a few different videos, but I'm not going to be negative the entire time. I will go through this kit extremely quickly, though, because I know most of you have probably already seen it. So, A1 attacks 2 times, ignores 3% of the target's defense for each buff on the target, which is helpful. So, of course, when you're going up against Sifi, you're going up against Duchess, you're going up against other meta champions that place a lot of buffs, potentially also Pythion and Mithrala, who place multiple buffs each, then, well, Pythion only places 1, but Mithrala does place 2. But a lot of times you'll see them paired up against each other, or with each other, I mean, in live arena or arena. So having her is going to be helpful and more impactful for you, especially when you're facing Necrit as well. Of course, she ignores on one of her abilities shield buffs. So I think it's this one. And it is ignores shield buffs on the target if they have 2 or more. And Necrit always places 3, I believe, or 4 buffs on one ally. So she's just going to ignore the shield and have no issues, because the main issue is Necrit's shield and how much the strengthen ignores as well for damage. So that's actually very helpful. So if he has 4, that's automatically going to be ignoring 12% of buffs with those 4 buffs on that target. So that's not bad. I mean, you're definitely going to want to put books in her, though, or else you're not going to see the full damage potential. And then on the A2, 3-turn cooldown potential. Attacks all enemies, ignores 5% of each target's defense for each buff on them. So that's even better. So on average, you're going to see between 2 and 3 buffs, sometimes 4 buffs on your target enemies when you're facing them in live arena, if they're picking Sifi. Because all I ever see is people pick Sifi, Duchess, sometimes Arbiter, and then Pythion and Mithralas. I see it all the time in Gold 1. Of course, if you're in lower tiers, maybe you might not see it all the time, but I'm pretty sure you might see a Mithrala here or there. You might see even a Lydia who places the strength in and stuff like that, and definitely Pythions too. So that's pretty nice. Steals 20% of the turn meter from each enemy, and it can't be resisted if they're under 2 or more buffs or debuffs. So that, again, very strong. Now, the issue with this ability is there's a lot of people with Stone Skin, okay? So you cannot steal turn meter through Stone Skin. So they haven't addressed that, and I don't think it's going to work through Stone Skin. So that's definitely a negative. But in general, if this doesn't have a cooldown, which I don't believe it does, on the, well, other than the skill itself, it's a usable skill. It's not like a passive. So it is going to have a cooldown. So it's on a 3-turn cooldown booked out. So it's not bad. I mean, it's okay. It's not the best, but it's definitely strong because of the ignore defense. For a free-to-play player, so far this champion's kit reads very strong. The A3 Whip of Destiny attacks all enemies, ignores 10% of the target's defense for each buff on the target. Okay, so that's the strongest hitting ability for sure. Let me just go and check the multipliers really quickly, and I'll be right back. Alright, so I just checked the CC chat, and I found out the multipliers on each skill. So you have a 1.8 multiplier per hit on the A1, so you're going to be totaling 3.6 on the A1, which is not terrible damage, but it's not insane. It's like average to above average. Okay, so on the A2 is actually a 4 multiplier, so it's not terrible. Again, it's not great. It's definitely slightly above average, though, so it's still not bad. But the fact of the matter that it ignores 5% of the enemy's defense with each buff is what makes this ability strong. And then the A3, it has a 4.1 multiplier. So 4.1 multiplier, which is also not terrible, but again, not the best. It's kind of like maybe comparable to like a Foley on his first hit, where he attacks everybody, but she doesn't attack twice. So I really wish this was attack twice. That would have been amazing, but it is what it is. Ignores 10% of the target's defense for each debuff on the target. Resets the cooldown of the skill if it kills 2 or more enemies So that's not bad. Potentially resetting the skill over and over is actually very strong. For the passive though, let's see. On the passive, for the greater good, increases this champion's attack by 10% every time they use an active skill, stacks up to 100% and resets each round. Okay. That is great for her kit. So she's going to be the one that you want to use in live arena for the long fights. So she's very strong for low spend or free to play players. End game though, super end game players, she's probably not really going to be someone you're going to bring in very often or at all, because you're going to have all the top meta champions anyways, like Taras Marichka. I saw some damage videos with her. She's still not hitting crazy numbers, but she's decent. She's definitely slightly above average or above average. And yeah, I mean, she's a good champion. She's not terrible. She's definitely good. Also, 50% chance of randomly changing this champion's weak hit to normal, strong, or critical hits. So the chance increases by 100 when attacking enemies under 2 or more buffs or debuffs. So it's possible you could potentially not bring in a strip champion, right? Could she be built tanky? I feel like she's a champion you might be able to build tanky, and she might get away with no crit rate. Now hear me out. 50% chance to randomly change the champion's weak hits to normal, strong, or critical. Maybe not, because it's a normal, strong, or critical. So maybe not no critical. Maybe you need crit rate, okay? But I was just thinking for a second there that maybe it was just changed to critical hits, but it's also changes to normal or strong. If they took out normal or strong and just put crit hits, then it would be, you could pretty much build her without any crit rate. But because it says it changes weak hits to normal or strong or critical, now it makes it a little bit underwhelming. So yeah, this kind of stinks. I wish it just took out normal or strong, and she would be way easier to build for anybody out there, because you could just put crit damage gauntlets, with crit damage. You could just, basically all you're looking for is crit damage, attack, and speed. You don't need to bring in any type of accuracy. At least I wouldn't recommend it, because you're hoping to play her just specifically against champions that place a lot of buffs, and that's how her damage scales. Her active effect for her passive, which is interesting, an active passive, fills this champion's turn meter by 100% and places increased attack on the champion for 1 turn whenever 8 or more buffs are placed on the enemy team in a single run. So that one, if you're facing a Sifi, because 8 or more buffs will definitely be placed at some point with a Sifi, most likely. It's usually 3, 6, 9, 12 buffs with Sifi, because I think she places 3 on each ally. So she'll definitely get this 100% fill. You would still need to make sure she's fast, because if you're going up against endgame players, she needs to be at least like 240 to 260 speed still to be able to get another 100% turn meter to lap like the fastest Sifis in the game, things like that. But most players that are going to get this person probably don't even have the gear to get 260 speed with 100% crit rate, crit damage, and everything else. So it'd be difficult to build her perfectly, but you could see some play. She could definitely see some play for sure. Increase ally attack in arena battles by 33%. So it's not terrible, but it's not insane at the same time. So we're going to close that one out. And what we're going to do now is I want to showcase the next thing. So that's my YouTube. You can feel free to subscribe to the channel. That would be fantastic. So let's go here. So right now we're on to the next part. So in terms of in-game items, you can't really see the words very well because I made a screenshot of this, but it's all good. So Champion Pass in a nutshell, it's a game mechanic where players get access to the pack of valuable in-game resources, has 25 levels. Okay, great. Comes in 2 forms. Basic form, which is the first 25 level. That's just for free-to-play players. For me, that's what I've got going on. I'm free to play. And then you've got the pay-to-win aspect of it. There's Elite as well. So 2 options from Elite. You've got 1, choose the option. You still have to complete the 25 levels, still get the access to the standard rewards. And you get an avatar as well with the standard rewards, which is cool, but it's whatever. I really wish that they would just put the champion in the standard rewards. And what they should do, they should have done, like, in my opinion, they probably should have brought in the elite version right here and here. All they would have to have done is like maybe put a 6-star awakening or a 4-star awakening of her. That would be more enticing. Just from reading this, like, just give everybody the legendary. Don't paywall it. And then give us opportunities, or the people that pay to play, the opportunity to 6-star awaken her. That would have been way better right off the bat. Okay. I mean, I have to see the rewards to see how good they are. So, Champion Pass, 25 levels of basic, 25 levels plus basic rewards, Elite Pass rewards, and the Champion Xena. Elite Plus, 25 levels, basic rewards, Elite Pass rewards, and Xena the Warrior. Okay, so I'm wondering what these Elite Pass rewards are. I'm going to take a look in a second just to confirm how good or bad they are. Let's see. Yeah, so there's that. And then we've got Summon Boost events, so 10x chance. During the whole campaign, Xena Warrior Princess can also be summoned from shards during the Summon Boost events. So only during Summon Boost events? That's how I read this, is that Xena will only be available during 10x events. This right here is an F right there. They should have done it during every event. Don't just do 10x's here and there. Again, paywalled. So it's impossible for a free-to-play player to get because you already know how 10x works. This is garbage. 10x is garbage. Change it to 20x or 30x at this point. 20 or 30x is what we need, okay? 100%. 20 or 30x. Just do it, Plarium. Just do it, okay? You're not going to lose a ton of money, all right? You're actually going to gain a lot of money in a short period of time. So here's the schedule for the first few months. Monday, November 13th, Ancient Shards. Monday, November 20th from Sacred Shards. And Thursday from November 30th from Ancient Shards. So these are the only chances as a free-to-play player that you're going to be able to pull your shards to get Xena. And unless it is a 2x, 10x, I don't recommend it. I'm sorry. I just don't recommend it because as a free-to-play player, you need to save your shards for fusions, which are pretty much guaranteed as long as you can continue to play and have the resources stocked up to get those fusions. Or just go for a 2x event and have a higher chance at getting a legendary. So just because you hit for a legendary doesn't mean you're going to get the legendary. And honestly, like 90% of the time, or at least 80 or 90% of the time, you're not going to get that 10x champion. I'm sorry to tell you that. You're probably not going to get it. So in my opinion, this 10x for her, you're basically, I don't think I'm ever going to get her. So that's how I feel. So this is how I feel about this. This is exactly how I feel about this. I'm never going to get her. Yeah, that's kind of ridiculous. So let's go ahead and take a look at the passes. And I've already started it. So I've seen basically the rewards from a free-to-play perspective. Free-to-play perspective. This is not pay-to-play perspective right now. The top rewards are decent. They're not insane. They're not terrible. They're just mid. They're like, in my opinion, they're decent. I will say getting a Sacred Shard at the end is very beneficial. But in terms of the challenges, they refresh every 24 hours. Okay? So if they refresh every 24 hours, do the challenges or points, because you have each level, right? Are the points going to be added up over time where you need to get more and more points to get every single reward level to complete? Or are they going to be basically the same, like 17, 17, and then just basically the same as this one right here, the Forge Pass, where it's the daily challenges? I have a feeling that it's not the same, and I feel like this will change from 17 to 20, 20 to 23, 23 to 26, 26 to 30, something like that along the way, because it's a 3-month event. It's 12 weeks and 1 day left, right? So if it's a 3-month event, that's how I would assume it's going to go. But I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Because if it's really easy, you'll just end up finishing it in about 3 weeks or 4 weeks, just like the other events, right? You'll finish it just like the Forge Pass in about 3 weeks, 4 weeks. So that's what I'm thinking that's going to happen, is that you're going to be able to finish it in 3 or 4 weeks potentially, or it's going to be they're going to stretch it all the way out, which is going to be stupid, because if they stretch it all the way out to the end, I mean, these rewards are terrible. They're less than mid. They're below average. The only good thing here, yes, you have a chance at getting a reward that is a artifact that's legendary, and you don't get many drops of this 6-star legendary artifacts from Ultra Nightmare. At least I don't. I've been playing for 4 years, and I barely get any 6-star legendary artifacts that are cruel set. However, the chances of getting the good piece that you want on your account with attack percent, speed, crit rate, or crit damage on here, it's kind of slim. More than likely, you're going to get flat stat attack, flat stat defense. If you're really lucky, you'll get a good main stat. But the best part about this is the Sacred Shard, 100%. Everything else, 25 energy, that's one run. 25 energy is one run. I actually prefer to have the multi-battles over the 25 energy. 25k, you're going to upgrade one piece of gear to level 3 or 4. So it's not much. The avatar, granted, is good because it's a $15 value. For a free-to-play player, that's great. And the Sacred Shard. These are just a hit or miss. Okay, so yeah. Now moving on in terms of, is the lower portion good? So from a pay-to-win aspect, if I was on my pay-to-win account, I would say that this right here, these rewards, a 5-star chicken's okay. A 6-star, I mean, it should be mythical, in my opinion. They should have mythical pieces down here. 50k silver, I mean, you're going to level up one piece of gear, 2 pieces of gear to level 4. It's just not worth it. A clan boss key, come on now. That's just stupid. You couldn't have put an ancient shard? Put an ancient shard. Put a void shard. This is not good either. These rewards right here for the Plarium play points, it's not good. 6-star legendary, which could end up getting crappy substats, and an avatar, the champion herself. I don't know. I just don't think that that's worth it for, what is it, 40 bucks? 40 bucks. And all you do is you pay 40 and you just get these 2 right away. So basically you pay 40 and it unlocks the first 2 slots for you. So they're saying that the legendary, which you still have to work for, you would still have to work for it. So if you pay to win and you don't really play the game very often and you barely log in, then you're not even going to get her. But more than likely, if you pay to win, I'm assuming that you're going to play and actually get the champion. But 40 bucks for the first 2 rewards, that's bad. Content creators are probably going to buy this if they're pay to win. But like, I'll buy it just because I have a pay to win account and I'm a content creator and I want to try her out. But other than that, because if you don't get her, if you don't pay for this champion, after the 3 months is over, you just won't ever get her. You won't see her ever again. So this is a one-time deal. Okay, they're probably not going to bring her back, and if they do, it wouldn't be for multiple years. Which honestly, at that point, she's going to be way power crept and not even worth it, anyways. So this is a one-time deal. If you pay to win, go for her, get it done, and that's it. But if you don't want her because you have already crazy strong champions, then don't go for her because she's probably not going to make a huge impact on your account. However, on the flip side of that, Plarium could potentially in the future give her a buff to make her even stronger. In that case, you might get some FOMO and fear of missing out on a champion that you could have had and then got a buff in the future, which probably won't be for at least another year or 2. So, and by that time, you're probably not even playing anyway. So, yeah, I mean, I'm going to say it's a very average to below average deal for the champion pass. It's kind of slightly below average, in my opinion. From a free-to-play perspective, you're getting rewards for free, so it's an average to slightly above average deal. Okay, because it's free to play, you're not paying anything. But I also am thinking from the perspective of all players' eyes and players that actually pay to win, so it's below average. Okay, so yeah, I always like free rewards anytime they're free. Fantastic. I will take all these items for free. Awesome. Thank you so much, player. Now, in terms of events, we've got the fiery single path going on. I already saw Hell Hades' video on this. You need to pull 54 sacred shards to complete this whole thing. Or just to go down here and complete the Kira. Just to get her. 54. Or no, it was to complete the whole thing. It was to complete the whole thing. 54 sacred shards. That's insane. Absolutely absurd. This is my free-to-play account. I've got 7 sacreds, 4,500 each. Yeah, it wouldn't really get me much. Wouldn't really amount to much. Ancients, they're 300 each. I mean, I'll just call it 30,000 minus, 8, which is what? 16, 2,400. Yeah, so I mean, you're looking at least 27.6 thousand, something like that I'll be getting from 92 ancients. Is it worth it for Lady Mikage? So the rewards in general are not that great. They're good for probably like really early progression. I mean, I will say getting an Immortal Soulstone is awesome for any free-to-play player. Getting the Superior Oils, also awesome. Getting the Eternal Soul Coins, also awesome with the 5 stars. So it's average rewards, I would say. Average to slightly above average rewards. Although this Superior Force and these potions right here, they should have changed this to an Ancient Shard, in my opinion. If they change these to an Ancient Shard, they'd be above average. I'd say right now they're average to maybe slightly above average, but more so average rewards that you'll see on most path events. As well as this, like the Force Brews, they could have easily turned those into oils, like 50 oil. You know what I mean? So who really wants brews these days unless you're super early game? And then the gems are okay. The book sucks. 1 day XP is okay. And the core hammers are okay. But yeah, the potions, I would have changed those for an Ancient Shard. And then everything else is decent. Yeah, in terms of how many shards you need to pull to get the 2 legendaries. So you're guaranteed Kira, which is part of the Lady Mikage fusion. And then you're guaranteed if you pull 54 sacreds, or basically all your shards, and you have enough points. So you need like 250,000 points, I believe Hell Hades said. Then you'll get Indalia, and you'll get all the other champions. Now for me, in order for me to get another copy of Kira and Tatsu, I would need Fire Gun Isbel, and I would need all of these champs. I need Ulfrig, Delaja, Ilsinia, and what's her name? Oh, I already have her. Okay. If I unlock her, what's her name though? What the heck? So weird. So if you have her, it doesn't actually view her. Well, she's in my vault somewhere. I don't really care about the name. But anyways, this champion right here. So having her is nice as well. So I just need these 3 and Fire Gun. So in terms of the fiery single path, where is Fire Gun? Of course, Fire Gun's on the right side, which is not... Yeah, I see what you did there. I see what you did there. So more than likely, what did Plarium think here? They thought, well, we already had a fusion, so most people probably already have Lady Quellen, or maybe just in general, they ran like some type of report or algorithm report to see how many players have this Lady Quellen, this Enda Moonbeam, and then Isbel and Endalia. They probably found that most players already have Enda, already have Lady Quellen. Let's put them here. Or on the flip side, from a positive note, they probably were like, oh, well, maybe they don't have these champions and they need to get Tatsu. You know, maybe we'll help them out a little bit. But let's be honest. Okay. Plarium doesn't usually think that way. So in terms of getting these champs, and all these four are for Tatsu. So you're not going to get Tatsu outright. You can only get Kira outright, and she's an insane amount of points anyways. Yeah. This kind of sucks. It's way too many. It's too many points, especially for free to play. So it's definitely paywalled. Unless you're a free to play that's saved up 60 plus sacreds or 50 plus sacreds, you've saved up hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of ancients, tons and tons of voids. I guess it depends on how much you value this fusion. You know, this mythical fusion. If she's valued at the top end and you feel like she's that good where she's to the point where she's going to ultimately change your account and make you go into platinum, make you finish all hard Doom Tower hard Doom Tower content, hard dungeon content, all that. Do you think she can do that? I guess that would be my question. Do you think she's so good that she's going to make your account so top tier that it's worth pulling everything and then risk skipping out on the next fusion? Personally, it's hard for me to answer that because as a free-to-play player, I want to save my shards for the next fusion. Well, I guess I can't answer it for you. I personally don't think it's worth it. That's just my personal opinion, unless you have an insane amount of shards, which I do not have an insane amount of shards. So it just doesn't work for me. If I pulled all of my shards, I probably still might not be able to make it. I'm going to do some calculations and I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. So I just did a quick calculation just to see from my free-to-play account perspective. If I were to pull all my ancients, all my voids, and all my sacreds, then I would end up with 76,350 points based on the fiery single path. So I didn't even calculate the primals, but I can do that really quickly. So I have 11 primals times 1,800 a pop. So 11 times 1,800, we're going to add another 19,800 on top of 76,350 is 96,150. So if I pulled all of my shards as a free-to-play, late-to-end game player, and I'd have to pull everything, I would only get 96,150. So where would that net me on the fiery path? So you've got 506, that's 1,100, 3,300, 7,300, 14,300, and then we've got, so let's see, 14,300 plus 7,500, 21,800 plus 9,000 is 30,800, and then you're at 40,800. So 40,800 plus 15,000 is now 55,800. That would be with her. Now, if I were to do just going for Kira, because once you get down to the bottom here, you can actually go for all three of them. So all I would personally need, which actually it might even be worth it. And I have a pen in my hand because I'm writing down on a piece of paper if it's actually worth it for my account specifically. And it might actually be worth it. The reason why I say it might be worth it for me is because I'll get 2 legendaries and so 2 copies, right? I already have 2 copies. I have Tatsu and I have Kira. I could get 2 more legendaries, which will be Tatsu and Kira, because I just need Fire Gun, I believe. Let me just double check really quickly. Yeah, I just need Fire Gun Isbel. Oh, wait, no, Fire Gun's on. No, I looked at it wrong. That's Lady Quellen. I would need Fire Gun on this side. I don't think I could do it. That sucks. That really sucks. Or I'd have to get super lucky and pull a Fire Gun while I'm pulling Sacreds or Ancients, which likely I wouldn't be able to get, honestly. Man, that is really irritating, to be honest with you. That's super irritating. Because my Fire Gun, I actually fed to get the previous fusion. I forget which one it was, but I did feed my Fire Gun. Wow. That's tough. Because then I would need... So I don't even need Lady Quellen. So let's take away 15,000. And I still have 40,800 just to get to here and not pull any of these, right? I wouldn't pull Enda. I wouldn't pull anybody. So I need 60,000. with everything, I would need 100,800. So you would need 100,800, no matter which side you go down in the middle, 100,800 points to get Kira alone. 100,800 points, okay? Just to get Kira. 60, 70, 79, yeah. 100,800. Okay. I wouldn't get there, even from pulling all of my shards. I'd be at 96,150. I would still be short, and then the rest would have to come from getting artifacts and accessories, which, to be honest, you don't really get much points from. Chances are slim that I'll even get the high points. Let me put myself over here. So yeah, the chances are slim that I get the high points. And it's only what, a 3-day or a 4-day? It's a 3-day. So in 3 days, normally people average that are free to play around 3,000, maybe 4,000 points. So I'd be still short. I would need 4,650 points. And I'd probably still be short just for getting Kira, which is really irritating. But getting Kira will save me about a year's worth of work if I wanted a copy to get the Lady Mikage. It'll save me a year's worth of work, or you a year's worth of work, potentially, or it could be longer than a year, because it's possible some people don't even pull the epics for 3, 4, 5 years into playing the game. I know people who have commented on my videos that said, I still don't have that champion, and I've been playing for 4 years. So this Lady Mikage is such a large spectrum of like when you're going to get this champion, because it all depends on how much you play, how many shards you have collected, and are you a pay-to-win player, and are you willing to spend, or are you not willing to spend? If you're not willing to spend, it's going to take you a very, very long time to get her, unfortunately. Or if you're lucky like me and you saved a lot of the epics and you saved a lot of the rares over time from playing for multiple years, then maybe you're really close, or you might have already got her. So I can technically get her already. I got this guy leveled up 50, just these two need to be leveled up to 60. I could trash those 2 champions that I pulled from shards, or I could wait and then hopefully get another couple of copies. This is our one chance to potentially get another copy guaranteed, but you need to spend all of your resources. So yeah, she's literally 22.4 sacreds if you want to just get Kira, which is 100,800 points. Okay, so just keep that in mind as well. And just looking at my resources, which is actually not bad for saving, is not enough just to get Kira. Okay, so I don't know if I'm going to go for it. We'll see what happens. In my opinion, the events are not that great. They're a little underwhelming. The fiery path is decent to average. It's not above average by any means. If you have crazy amounts of shards and you're willing to spend them, it might be a little bit more slightly above average to you, because you have a chance to get the Mikage fusion. But at the end of the day, how much do you value Lady Mikage? Leave your thoughts in the comments down below, and I'm interested in knowing what you guys think about this. What do you think about the new champion from the Champion Pass and the Champion Pass itself? And I'll be able to answer any questions you have. Thank you so much for watching. Consider subscribing to the channel, and I'll see you on a video soon. Take care.